right now we're actually going to be talking about conversational AI. After that, we have a few more sessions, designing resilient unified endpoint manager. Then we'll take a break for lunch, and then we'll kick it back up for never migrate storage again. That is a customer presented presentation. And then of course, exploring DevOps and Microsoft Defender for Cloud to finish it up for the day. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to Anna and take it away. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Anna Del Campo. I'm a cloud solution architect. I work on data and AI on higher education and research institutions in K-12. And I recently, looking for some solutions for some of my customers, found this amazing solution accelerator by Zammo.AI. It's a conversational AI solution that really solves a lot of the problems and allows you to meet your customers and your students, what in this case are your students and your staff, where they at, how they would like to communicate, and solve a lot of the communication problems, helping you with efficiency, taking the burden out of your staff having to answer the same questions over and over again. So because it's a great presentation, I am just going to pass it on I'm going to introduce you to Eric Eglin. He is the Global Black Belt who is in charge of this. So take it away.
Great. Thank you, Anna. Hey, hello, everybody. Eric Eglin. I'm out in near San Francisco in the suburbs here. And I'm with the Microsoft team called Global Black Belt, or GBB, and focused on artificial intelligence and machine learning. Yeah, like Anna said, the conversational AI, or just automating conversations, is a really great way to gain efficiency in the way you operate and communicate. It helps your staff be freed up from routine, repetitive queries that are kind of low value, and frees them up to answer more, involved or more complex tasks. It's great for staff. It's great for students. It's great for people who are interested in learning more about your institution, because they can do that 24/7. The challenge is that it's very powerful, but we've all had bad automated conversation experiences or bad bot experiences. So what I'm sharing is what Anna mentioned, is we have this solution accelerator. And what I love about it, I've been focused on conversational AI for those reasons. I really believe it's a great way to save cost and improve customer experience at the same time, which is usually not two things that go together. But for about 6.5 years with Microsoft, but my projects would routinely take so long. And so I'm just going to touch on a couple slides, and I'm going to turn it over to the team that's going to show you a click to production demo. But I think the key point is contact centers, and that's just anybody who emails, anybody who receives a web form, anybody who answers a phone or responds to an email or any kind of query. There's just a lot of volume. And if you can free them up, it keeps people from having to wait longer. It saves your contact center metrics like drop calls and time to resolution and things like that. But here's the challenge. So the path to conversational AI success, or to automate conversation, is 4 parts. First, you have to know what conversations do you want to automate. And that's like designing your experience. Then you have to create all the technology, right? The natural language processing, machine learning. Which channels are you going to support from a voice to are you going to have it on telephone? Are you going to have it on a web chat? Are you going to have it on social media? How about SMS and WhatsApp and different channels like that? Then you have to deploy it, and then you have to build your analytics, which is difficult because you have different data models from every channel. So that means you have to unify all the data models, then create your data streams, and then your visualizations. That's a big project in itself. Then to make it really valuable, you want to include informational conversations where people are getting information, but you also want transactional conversations where people are getting things done, meaning that the conversation is connected to a back-end database, whatever those databases are. And the University of the Future has 2 virtual agents, one external and one internal. And you want those to be able to connect to every different back-end system that's relevant to what people want to get done, or those use cases. So that 4th part is important too. what this solution accelerator does, and you see the big red bow right there. So it basically automates the heaviest load, the hardest part of that process, which is those middle two steps of building everything from scratch and then deploying it and then building the analytics so you can learn and improve. So that's what's really exciting about this, is that it takes away the really hard part and just lets you focus on, well, what conversations do we want to automate and what back-end systems do we need to connect to make those conversations really valuable. And so what this solution enables, and I'm just going to kind of go left to right, is business users are reusing conversations. So there's reusable conversation libraries for everything from discovery and people wanting to learn about your university or your institution or your school, to application, to admissions, to financial aid, to registration, to alumni, to sporting events at school. There's all these libraries of schools, so of conversations that are related, so you can reuse those and not have to start over. That's a big time saver. We see that across industries, saving a lot of time. And then real business users can create conversations, and that's valuable because you can do this yourselves, or have somebody you want to do it. And then deploying across channels is really important, right? Being able to hit the voice channel, so you can do this on the phone and have people and save the people that are answering your phone, and reduce wait times, but also on web chat. And you can see a lot of different channels here. Then enriching conversations with backend integrations, like I mentioned. So it doesn't matter if it's your Salesforce, your SAP, your whatever you might have for your backends systems, your ServiceNow, et cetera. But you don't want to just focus on one backend system, because you want your virtual agent to be able to connect to lots of backend systems, and that's what this is designed for. And then being able to go deeper, connect to scoring engines, other types of AI. That's really valuable, and that helps you stay future-proofed. And then, like I mentioned earlier, to have that analytics already built and be able to have dashboards, raw data, and unified data models for all those different channels. So basically, what we're going to show you is this is an example of reusable conversations. And we have the reference architecture picture. Instead of trying to build 30 different Microsoft Azure services, this is already pre-built. So it's very efficient. It saves that pain of trying to build and trying to have the right people who have the right domain expertise to build everything. And so what we have is a really fast motion, and you're going to see an example of what it is here right now as I hand off to Rob and Gina. But basically, all this is an email, and you can just tell your Microsoft rep, oh, here, it looks like I zoomed out there. Let me come back in. But one email to this email address, solexcel@microsoft.com, and just say, oh, here's what, we're interested in this. And we can give you a click to production, like a production ready, no smoke and mirrors, no black box. Production ready demo on voice and all these channels, all these things that I'm talking about in multiple languages with the best natural language processing machine learning models underneath, and do it the next day. Literally, put us to the test. It's a great process. So I wanted to share sort of where is conversational AI, what's the opportunity, automating conversations, there's a lot of value there, but what's the challenge? It's that 4-step process. And then why is this solution accelerator valuable? Because it automates those most difficult middle 2 steps. And then, okay, that sounds good. How do I get proof of that? Where's the technical proof? Well, this is the exact motion of one email to get this demo that I'll hand off to Rob and Gina.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. So Microsoft has incredible AI services, but it takes a lot of engineering effort, IT resources, and time to build out those projects. And so really the challenge that Zammo solves is the time to market and the technical expertise needed to do conversational AI well. And so we just met with a customer who is very familiar with conversational AI, and we asked them how long it takes them to build a project on one channel. And they said 6 months, which is fast if you're familiar with the world of conversational AI. That same project could be done using Zammo, the solution accelerator, in about 1 to 2 months, and you could target multiple channels. So the concept is this, is create the conversations, focus on designing the flow, what you want the bot to say, what the branding is going to sound like, and then deploy it to whichever conversational channels you want. So if you have students roaming campuses, maybe SMS is very important, or IVR system or voice assistants targeting parents or students or alumni coming back to campus. And then gathering all the analytics you can iterate upon very, very quickly. And so we've had customers essentially pull students directly out of school to build these entire conversational flows, which means your universities have a near endless supply of people who can build these robust conversational AI experiences and maintain them throughout the years. And then as Microsoft releases new AI services and improves things and moves towards open AI, the Zammo Accelerator will automatically keep up with those advanced features so that your customers don't have to go through the manual process of updating. Because really the time savings is once you have all these bots out, maintaining those projects can be very difficult to do if you have to do it yourself. So that's really the value prop here, is just less technical expertise, less time needed, and automatic updates as the technology progresses moving forward. Eric, anything you'd like to add? So you come off mute for a second. Perfect. So what you'll see is Gina is going to show a demo of a conversational flow. And so you'll see that both on chat as well as voice, and then all the analytics behind it. So with that, I'll turn it over to Gina.
All right, thanks, Rob. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So what I'm going to be showing you is pretty high level, so please don't hesitate at any point to jump in and ask a question. Rob will be able to see your hands raised, or if there's anything you'd like to see in more depth, happy to do that. So overall, this is what I'll be showing. I'll be showing the end result of creating content and publishing it on voice. And that means IVR telephony, as well as it applies to the voice assistants, Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant. Then I'll show that same thing, but on web chat. So I'm going to show actually web chat, but also on Teams. Then I'll go under the hood and show you how the content is created, updated, and deployed. And then last, I'll show cross-channel unified analytics. All right, so on the left side of my screen is the proposal that we sent to Anna to get an idea of what to show to you folks today. And so I'll reference this as some of the use cases that we created. And on the right side is content that we created and published as a chatbot, and it's overlaying a mock version of this university's website. So to start off with, I'm going to ask the bot more of a foundational question, more of an FAQ, and that might be how long is the academic year? Now I'm abbreviating a word and misspelling a word so that you can see that what is going on is not keyword matching, but artificial intelligence to understand the intent of the question in order to provide the answer. And with screen-based chatbots, links can be included, images, and even video files. And then now I'm going to ask the same question, but in Spanish, so that you can see that the chatbot, if a user comes and starts typing in another language, the chatbot's going to automatically switch to that other language. And thanks to Azure Communication Services, over 120 languages are supported. So here's that same question and the answer in Spanish. All right, so now I'd like to ask the bot more of a multi-turn conversation. So that's where more information is needed to be gathered for the bot to provide an answer or to conduct a transaction. So the one I'm going to start off with is a user forgetting their password. Very common request to make, and these can be automated. And so instead of web chat, this time I'm going to show it to you on Teams so you can see it on a different channel. Start over here. All right, so I'll say I forgot my password. And whatever information is needed to verify an account can be included. And I'll say, yes, I'd like a reset link sent to my phone. And now I'm going to pull up a screen display of my phone so you can see that text come in. The bot verifies the phone number, and then it sends a link to my phone. Okay. It's not responding for some reason. Let me pull up also something that I want to show you is at this point, not only did it send a text to my phone, but also it made a backend integration to ServiceNow and created a service ticket, and the number ends in 363. So I'm going to refresh ServiceNow. Go here to the end. There it is, the ticket ending 363, and it's a password reset. All right. Okay, so now I would like to demonstrate for you the phone capability, and let me give you a little context here. So this next use case is where someone's coming by phone. So this can be telephone, but it could also be the Amazon Alexa app on the phone or Google Assistant or on a home device. So the person calling in is going to ask to schedule an appointment with an academic advisor, and the bot will ask for student ID, and of course this can be whatever information is needed. Then the bot's going to ask for, well, what days and times work best, and then we will just speak to a backend integration where the bot would pull up that information and then provide, oh, here comes my link. That's kind of interesting. Let me show this to you. There goes the link. Oh, I hope you caught it. So then the bot says, does this date and time work? The user says yes, and great. So then again, we just speak to a backend integration where that appointment is scheduled. And then the next part is, again, I'll be demonstrating on the phone where a user, the context is someone living in the dorms is asking for some maintenance, and then some identification information is needed. And then they're asked if it's urgent, and they say yes. And then I'll show you how if there's a sense of urgency, or if at any point someone wants to talk to a live agent, that can be done. So by phone, I'll be transferred to a phone number to speak to a live person. And I'm using our IVR simulator, which this is available to our customers as well, and the web chat simulator. This is a great way to test content before publishing. And because it's the simulator, when I first started, it's going to ask for a code, but in production, that doesn't happen. Code 268640.
Welcome to University Services. Would you like to continue in English or Spanish?
English.
Great. How may I assist you today?
Can I schedule an appointment with an academic advisor?
I would be glad to help with that. Are you a current student?
Yes.
Great. What is your student ID number?
GD 123.
And your date of birth?
February 2nd, 2002.
What days of the week work best?
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
What times are you available?
Afternoons.
There is an opening on November 24th at 2:30. Does that work?
Yes.
Great. I have scheduled an appointment with an academic advisor for November 24th at 2:30 p.m. How else may I help you?
I need to schedule some maintenance.
What is your student ID number?
GD 123.
And your date of birth?
February 2nd, 2002.
Is the maintenance request urgent?
Yes.
One moment while I connect you to a live agent.
Thank you for calling the Office of Resident Life. Your call may be monitored or recorded for quality assurance purposes. If you
Okay, so that's the experience on voice. And now I'd like to go under the hood a little bit and show you how this content is created and deployed. So here, this is the Zammo portal, and here, foundational FAQs can be brought in bulk by a couple of means. So one way is FAQ pages. Those URLs can be copied and pasted right here, as many as you have, and added and consolidated into one place. If the content is in a doc file, that can be uploaded as well, or PDF, Excel file, and Microsoft's artificial intelligence is used to auto-ingest this information and put it into a question and answer format. Now, if there's an external source of content, that can be maintained and called as an API. So content doesn't have to be brought in here. But if it is, then once it's in this format, business users can then add additional question variants or different ways of asking the question if necessary. And also the chatbot answers can include those links, images, and video files. And the voice answers can be tailored and heard before being published to ensure proper pronunciation and cadence. I'll play this voice answer for you.
The academic year usually runs from August through May with breaks for holidays. Most universities use either the semester system, 2 terms, the quarter system, students attend 3 out of 4 total terms, or the trimester system, 3 terms.
And they can be heard not only for Azure Speech, but also for the default voices for Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa. But also, if that voice isn't what is really preferred, it can be neural voices, custom neural voices can be chosen here. So I can select the language and then choose from a large selection of different neural voices that might best represent the persona of my organization. And one voice could be chosen for English, a different voice for Spanish, etc. And then you saw the multilingual capability in the chatbot. But in addition to that, additional languages can be added to the knowledge base. So what this means is that these languages are guaranteed to not only work on chatbot, but also on the voice assistants, Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant in these other countries, because those voice assistants aren't necessarily supported in every country. So if desired, these languages can be added to the knowledge base, and one can have assurance they're going to work on chatbot and on voice. And also, they can offer higher precision because rather than a translation occurring, the language model is actually trained in that language. The content can be tested here right here with a test bot or with the simulator, which produces a link that can be shared with coworkers and then published. And the language model is trained automatically in about 50 seconds. And then for more back and forth or a multi-turn conversation, those can be created here in the Conversation Designer. And again, by business users and subject matter experts who know the kind of conversation that they want to have with users. And so it's a very straightforward tool for creating stepwise conversations between the bot and the user. And branches can be included for true or false. If the user says yes, go in this direction, says no, go in a different direction, as well as multiple choice options. And even though it's very straightforward and easy to learn and easy to use, it's also very robust. And so I'll come here to this dialogue where the ServiceNow backend integration is made. So this is this part where IT typically steps in because they know all of the parameters that need to be sent to make an API call. And then again, the content can be tested right here and when ready, published, and the language model is retrained automatically and published to all the channels that have been activated. And I'll show you all those different channels where content can be published. So all of these channels can be published or activated and by business users. So rather than a siloed engineering approach for chatbot and then another one for voice and another one for Teams, as needed or desired, the content can be published to a chatbot, and then maybe down the road, IVR telephony, maybe further down the road, Slack, or all of them at once. And if there's a bot framework skill that's already in use, it doesn't have to be scrapped and start over. It can be integrated with this product. And for the voice assistants, the solution accelerator goes out and finds if the invocation name that is desired is available, and if so, takes care of that publication process. And the last thing I'd like to show you are the cross-channel unified analytics. So right here in this dashboard, one can see the message activity for new and returning users, and also on what platforms users are accessing content. And also provided are the missed utterances. These are the things that people have asked that the bot didn't understand. And this is how the analytics can really drive the improvement of content. So this information, the analytics, can be called as an API and then pushed to other services and tools like Power BI, or it can be used right here. And the content can be downloaded where it's exported to an Excel spreadsheet. And here one can see the word-for-word conversation between the user and the bot. And then one can use these tools in Excel to really hone in on this part, this column where the bot doesn't understand, and filter for that and look at those questions that the bot didn't have an answer for. And it may be services or programs that are being asked about that aren't currently offered, or it might just be content that needs to be added. So one can simply copy the question and come back to the portal, and then it may be adding a completely new question and answer, or maybe just a question variant, a different way of asking the same question. And so one can just paste in that question and save it, click on review, and then click on publish. And the language model is retrained automatically in about 50 seconds. And deploy and continually improve content, but then IT can just step in for those back-end integrations. I would love to open it up for any questions.
All right, let me take mute off of everybody. If I can get to the right screen, sorry about that. No, it's on the other monitor, that's why. And I shall allow mic for all attendees. So everybody, you can all come off mute if you have some questions. I know there was one that looked like Rob. Yeah, exactly, Phil. Hey, look, I'll even give you the ability to go on camera if you want to go on camera. So if you're feeling shy and you don't want to come off mute, go ahead and type it. Also, there's a form if you guys can fill it out just for feedback on the session. It's greatly appreciated.
I know from our
Great.
university, maybe from higher ed, I'm sorry, this is Phil Swansea from Penn State. I think one of the things we look at when we look at these chat bots for our institution is how much student data do we have to expose through Azure Active Directory and since most of our, and I say most, our organization especially is hybrid, it's securing the student data because there is no security around the attributes in Azure AD that we could tightly segment attribute data. So it's like we can't expose classes the students could be in because somebody else could read that data through an API, and that shouldn't be able to, or we could, so it turns into one of these chatbots that look super great across the board, kind of becomes hamstringed because we just can't publish all of that information for it to read, which goes back to my statement or question earlier about, well, what sort of data does it need access to? Because you had asked the question in your example about, well, what's your student ID? Well, I don't know if we would ever be able to expose student ID number to something like this, because then everybody could read student ID number that has the ability to read profile data of a user.
Right.
So it just turns into this kind of like weird quasi, and I know Microsoft's been working on securing attributes. They have the standalone secure attribute, but I think this just, I didn't know, can this application leverage like, and I can't remember it, the Azure vaults, key vault for data?
Yeah, so since this is all Azure underneath, essentially what it is it's the exact same capabilities as if you had built a DIY, and you get all the flexibility built in. So you can access additional Azure services, as much as you want, but you can also design the conversation so it doesn't ask for student IDs. You can authenticate in different ways. You can send texts or emails or, other ways of authentication based on your workflows. So we work with a lot of healthcare. We work with a lot of banking as well. So obviously PII is a huge concern with them. For the purpose of this demo, right, Gina the bot asked Gina, what is your username? Which you may or may not do that in real life. Maybe you have someone log in, maybe you hide it behind a login page. There's other ways to authenticate, so you're not just asking directly for sensitive information. And so if that's interesting, we're happy to explore that at a deeper level. We could bring in some more technical folks from our side.
Oh, thank you. I don't run I'm going to pass this session on, and I believe these are, Steve had said they're recorded. I'm definitely going to pass this info on to our backend group that works with Ivy so they can have some comparison info, because definitely the demo. Thank you, Gina. That this was all great.
Oh, thank you.
Perfect. And I'll drop my email in the chat as well. Feel free to ping me with any questions. To put it into perspective of how long it took to create this, Gina, how long did it take you to make this demo?
Took about 2 hours.
2 hours is incredibly quick if you're familiar with conversational AI at all. And so, I mean, this is auto ingesting, current information. And so information we found off a public website, auto ingested that, and then also created a multi-turn conversation that connects into ServiceNow as a sample backend. And so all of that is very quick. And Gina's not an engineer. And so she was able to set this up all without, involving IT to set it up, and you can go cross-channel. So a lot of applications, especially for a university, like I said, which all the students are mobile all the time, and you constantly have an influx of 10,000 plus students on campus looking for information. for about a month straight and trying to find things out. So lots of applications within higher ed.
All right, last chance for questions.
I had a question as well. This is David
All right.
Deppin. I'm from UMass Global. We are also using Ivy, and one of the challenges that we've kind of run into is it seems that the majority of questions really require you to go in there and manually provide an answer. If it's just kind of a very general information document that's been provided, then it can usually spit that back. But is that something we should really expect to be kind of the same here, or it's kind of hard for me to describe, but almost like the actual AI ability for it to understand the content within a document, so that you're not having to go in and just basically manually answer every question so it's available.
Yeah, I hear you. So the way that this is it's using Azure Lewis for the language understanding. And so Gartner ranks Microsoft as top leader in AI, and they're always investing more. And so this has the best of that Microsoft has to offer. And what that means is essentially it's not doing keyword matching for questions. It's really understanding the intent of questions. And so you don't need to match a long list of pairs of, all right, the user said a certain variation. Now I need to put it back into my bot and teach it. You just don't need that level of complexity. So it picks up a lot of things without a lot of manual intervention. Things like, what time is the football game, or game time this weekend? Those would be picked up as kind of the same intent of the question and respond with the answer. Even those are, if you were looking at matching it, those would be nowhere similar, right? And so there's a lot of understanding that happens kind of automatically, and that's really the beauty of this, is it just saves a ton of time, but you get the best that Microsoft has to offer, and Microsoft is a leader in the AI space.
And are these is this able to like reference like a dynamic a document that's dynamic, maybe on SharePoint or otherwise, that say it's a schedule that gets updated every 2 weeks, and it can reference that each time, or not so much?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways to do it. You can either index SharePoint. There's a couple, like I said, a couple of different ways to do that. Or if you had it hosted via some sort of system with an API, you could actually just connect directly to that API. So every time the data changes in that system, it automatically pulls in the same information. So we've had other universities who have kind of student information systems that change. And so you could actually just authenticate and then pull directly into the API for class schedule or my books, things that students are frequently asking.
Interesting. Okay, that makes sense. And then one other question there is with the kind of a back and forth dialogue here. Is the AI able to reference previously answered questions to kind of build upon a more educated response as it goes through a conversation?
Yeah, so the way that we do it is you have to basically tell the bot, like give the bot the information, and then the bot isn't self-learning. What we found is that there's potential for abuse if you have a bot that's kind of like self-learning in those scenarios, and there's a very famous case study. And so we choose not to do that and have a self-learning bot. We choose to have content that's a little bit more catered based on the actual analytics that are coming in. And so because the analytics are all captured, it doesn't take very long to quickly peruse them and say, all right, people are asking this. These are the questions that were not understood. Oh, this is a question that we don't even have an answer to. Someone's asking for something that we've never thought of. It's very easy to go back in, change the content, and make it very relevant, which decreases or actually eliminates any chance for abuse of the bot.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
Can I add to that one? So also the bot is smart enough that if, like in the demonstration I provided, you might have noticed it asked for my student ID and my name or my birthday twice. And that's only because I kind of combined a couple things, but it can retain that information where if I then ask another question, it's not going to ask me for that information again.
Gotcha. Yeah, an example on our end is, if we have we're we're offering a chatbot for both faculty, staff, and students. And so, obviously a staff would ask a question that would be similar to what a student may ask, but the response could be very different. So one of the ideas there is to, upfront kind of ask, are you a student or staff, and then, from that point, the bot knows, during that session that this is a student they're speaking with, and they'll only get, student related documentation.
Content.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were working with the New York City Department of Education, and they have exactly that use case, but also including parents of students. So it could be a parent, student, or teacher all involved. So you can have it kind of combined as one bot that handles everything. Or if you want, you could separate bots out. So maybe you wanted a faculty Teams bot if your organization was using Teams, and very specific to faculty, right? You're not going to get any student information, and you can share different information than you would if you had it all in one bot. So there's a couple different ways that you can do it. Like Gina's showing you here how you can quickly add an organization, and it's all included. So it's not charged for extra bots or anything like that.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
Anybody else want to come off mute and ask a question? We still have plenty of time. All right. If not, I think somebody had mentioned they were going to put their email address in the chat. I don't know if they did that. Oh, there it is. Perfect. All right. I'm going to stop. Yep. Gotcha. I'm going to stop the recording. And thank you very